Now do have Nathan Jones joining us live here on Hatters Player. A 3-2 defeat. It was a real game, 90 minutes of action. Nathan, your thoughts on the disappointment of the defeat in the end?
Look, I'm disappointed because how we defended was totally out of character for us. I said we're second best defensive record in the league, and I didn't envisage that. You know, little mistakes, little errors that cost us. You know, and that was the frustrating thing. We showed some wonderful play to get back into the game and then to take the lead and take it into half time 2-1, and then just a bit of naivety second half, straight from kick off. Well, pretty much straight from kick off we concede from a poor throw and knock inside and so on. And look, it was out of character, but we're still well in the tie. We've got a massive game at Kenilworth Road on Thursday night that we're going to need to show up for.
There's a famous roller coaster not too far from here, just down the seafront, and it was a game of ups and downs throughout, wasn't it? The going behind early on against the run of play, but then showing real spirit to come back with two quick goals to take the lead. Yeah,
look, we went behind through little errors, you know, and it should have been snuffed out. That goal shouldn't have happened, but it did. Then we showed real character to come back into it, and then we just showed naivety. And I said, poor. I don't think it was a pen. I really don't, because they're both grabbing, and you can see on Sky, in terms of both shirts getting pulled to give a penalty away. It's a big call. You know, the referee needs to handle that differently, I think, but he never. And then obviously we had a late shout late on, but as I said, that's what's happened. That's sometimes what happens in these games. The big games, things happen that don't normally happen, but we'll be ready for the next game.
Aside from the penalty shout, though, it actually came from a free kick that we didn't think should have been given. It looked like a very fair challenge from James Justin on Dan's.
Yeah, and we thought that at the time, but those things happen. You still got to defend the free kick. If free kick's given, it happens. It's difficult for the referee to decide, and then we just didn't defend it, you know, well enough from there. And it's a frustrating one because of the referee's soft penalty, and he gave it that way, and you know we don't get them, and people pull us all over. I know Glenn Reid pulled Danny Hilton especially, but we don't get those. But look, we can't feel sorry for ourselves now. We've got to make sure that we are dust ourselves down. We have 2 good days training, and we go into Thursday on a real high.
I mean, you certainly ended the game strongly, looking to get that equaliser to even the tie up, and there were 2 penalty shouts late in that game. Danny Hilton looked as though there was a 2-hand push on him, and then Ollie Palmer appealed for what looked like a double hand ball.
The Hilton one I think would have been a bit harsh to give, but the other one's definite. Stonewall, it's literally bounced up in between him. He's clawed it away with his left hand, so that's a pen for me all day long. But it didn't happen, and I said we can't. As I said, we can't feel sorry. So what we have to do now is make sure we look forward, and we'll be looking forward to Thursday. And all we have to do is win a game at Kenilworth Road, which, okay, we'd have liked it to have been minimum level, but we're looking forward to Thursday.
Just a word on Dan Potts. His first goal for Luton Town came at a great time, but a great strike as well, in off the bar, and he was following up well, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, the position he's playing, we ask him to do that, and to get forward and so on. And I said he showed a real sort of character as well after getting elbowed, because it was a bad elbow that he took, and then for him to get a goal, we encourage him to get forward and do that. So him and James Justin have got goals in recent weeks, so that's pleasing.
You mentioned James Justin there. I don't think there's too many Luton fans that expected to see him being fit and out on the pitch this afternoon, just 8 days after stretchered off at Kenilworth Road.
Yeah, and as I said, look, we thought it was a bad injury, but a lot of when you get stretchered off, it's precaution and certain things. Plus, James is young, doesn't quite know, you know, extents of certain injuries and so on yet, but we're just delighted to have him fit. He played. He had desire to really play, and so he got back in. And
he was heavily involved in both goals, wasn't he?
Yeah, and said done fantastically well. You know, he's in real good form, and he's a real positive thing for us, and we're delighted to have him.
And the key thing that you've touched on, it is only half time really in this tie. We've all to play for at Kenilworth Road, and a huge crowd, big crowd there expected, and they need to get behind the team like they have done this afternoon. Real good support, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, the support was outstanding again. I think we had more fans than them, to be honest with you. And I said we are only halfway through the tie. We'd love to get an early goal, but we're 1 behind, so we've got plenty of time to get it. As long as we don't concede, then look, we're still well within the tie, and it could make for an absolute rousing tie. I've been in the playoffs, I've been 2-0 down, and come back to win 5-2, so they're great nights, and you remember these nights, and that's what we'll be getting into the playoffs.
I look forward to speaking to you on Thursday then, Nathan. Cheers. Thank you very much.